Good morning, good evening, good afternoon. Welcome, welcome, welcome. We are back yet again. Yet again. Hopefully, we get a speaker vote today. All indications are that we are going to get a vote. They're calling quorum right now. Again, this is them calling to see if they're present or not. A very important question. If they're present, this doesn't take in mental state, which I think would be a far more difficult question. And I don't think that they have the capacity to do that. But yeah, we'll see how it goes. Jordan had some comments. We'll look at those. Jordan is running again. Seems like there's some shadiness going on behind the scenes with Representative Jordan and some of the tricks they were trying to pull. So, yep. Looks like it's going to be a fun one today. There was a lot of fireworks last night. As we know, we went back and forth. There was indication that potentially they were going to embolden Patrick McHenry to be Speaker Pro Tem with all the extra powers. There was a question whether or not that was constitutional. And it seems that they might have tried to screw America first and pull a fast one. Matt Gaetz and Jim Jordan had a pretty intense exchange apparently last night, and things got very, very heated. So, with that being said, let's say hello to everyone, and we'll get right into it. What's up, Deezy? I was a couple minutes late. Bad Daza, hello, sir. Neo, what's up? Jason J, good morning, sir. Mandy Wright, good morning. Stinge, good morning. Yeah, it doesn't look like there's very many people there. And we have 270 people who have not decided that they're here yet this morning. So, it happens. It happens. That's what I heard too. That's what I said. It got incredibly heated last night. I tried to sleep and then noticed Hayden was all by himself. This is the first time in like 4 years that I haven't had to get up for something because I took the last 2 days off and kids are off school for some bullshit. So like I had no obligation to get up this morning. Dog woke me up, and then I saw Hayden was live, and then I saw Hayden was alone, and I said, "Oh shit." So, I hung out with him this morning on his after party stream. So, but good to have you, Mandy. It is morning. It is morning now. Good morning. All right. So I think that we are. There's 8 minutes. We know that means there's about 45 until they realize if they're there or not. So let's get into this, Jordan. This is his press conference this morning. And we'll get into it and see what he had to say. So we're not missing much on the other side. I promise. Wow, damn. Apparently it wasn't as long as. So Jim Jordan's campaign put this out. And it's 10 minutes of his fucking logo. Why couldn't they just cut it? Whatever.
Thank you all for coming. You know, a few years ago,
good afternoon.
Holly and I got a call from some friends live in the Dayton, Ohio area. We live about 40 miles north of there, and they asked if we were free to go to dinner with them on few nights later, and we said, sure. And they said, before we go to dinner, we're going to tour the Wright brothers' homes. And we said, great. We enjoy history. Let's learn about these amazing two Americans. And so we go there, and we paid the lady at the door $5 from the Historical Society. And you go on this tour and you learn all these amazing things about the Wright brothers. You learn about the bicycle shop and the other things, the gadgets and gizmos they tinkered with and built. Fascinating tour. Last stop on the tour is Orville Wright's bedroom. And they tell you a few more things about this particular Wright brother. And then they close the tour out by showing you two pictures. First picture they hold up, that very first flight, 1903, in Kitty Hawk, North Carolina, in this thing they called a plane. And you first of all, you see that and you think, how did that thing get off the ground? And the truth is, it barely did. It flew like 100 feet, got a few feet off the ground. And you're thinking about that. You sort of remember that picture from 8th grade, 9th grade, whenever they teach you that in school. And I thought, well, that's amazing. They put that picture down, and then they hold up a second picture. 44 years later, 1947, Chuck Yeager breaking the sound barrier in a jet. And I was like, wow, that I didn't know. That's amazing. And 44 years we go from two guys flying 100 feet to another American breaking the sound barrier in a jet. And literally, that was the end of the tour. They put that picture down, and Polly and I start walking out. And as we're walking out that door, it hit me. Wait a minute. Why did they stop there? I represent Wapakoneta, Ohio, Auglaize County, Ohio, hometown of Neil Armstrong, who 22 years after Chuck Yeager breaks the sound barrier, steps on the moon.
I've been to Wapakoneta, Ohio. I was there for the 50th anniversary of Apollo.
One lifetime, we went from two guys flying 100 feet to putting a man on the moon. It is a great country, the greatest country in my judgment, made up of great people. And right now, those people, I think, are starting to doubt and wonder about their government and about where our nation is headed. They see an open border. They see crime in the streets. They know what it costs to put gas in their car. They know what it costs to put food on the table. They see a war in Israel, our strongest ally, Israel, and what's happening there and the help that Israel needs. And they see a government that's been weaponized against we, the people. The very government that's supposed to serve us has been turned on the taxpayers who pay for it. I think the American people are thirsty for change. I think they are hungry for leadership. And frankly, they know that the White House can't provide it. They know the Senate won't lead. And they are looking for House Republicans to step up and lead and make change on these important issues. We got important work to do. We need to help Israel. We need to get the appropriations process moving so that the key elements of our government are funded and funded in the right way, particularly our military. We need to get back to our committee work. And frankly, we need to continue the oversight work that I think is so darn important. In short, we need to get to work for the American people. We need to do what we said we were going to do. We need to do what we told them we were going to do when they elected us and put us in office. And frankly, we can't do that if the House isn't open. We can't open the House until we get a speaker. My favorite scripture verse is 2 Timothy 4:7. Paul's the old guy giving advice to the young guy, Timothy. And he says, fight the good fight, finish the course, keep the faith. And I tell folks, I love that verse because of the action in it. Because of the word. Americans aren't timid folks. They're people of action. And the words in that verse, fight, finish, keep, I think, fit the American spirit. Americans expect their government to fight for them. They expect us to finish our work, and they expect us to keep faith with the principles and values that made us the greatest nation ever, made us the nation that could go from the Wright brothers to Neil Armstrong. That's what we have to keep in mind. And that's the kind of attitude I think we got to have. The quickest way to get all this working is to get a speaker elected. That's what I hope we can do today. I'll take your questions.
Mr. Jordan, good morning. So lay out your path. Are you just going to call roll call vote after roll call vote today and tomorrow and into the weekend and try to wear your opponents down? Because it didn't seem like you made any progress yesterday meeting.
Well, you all said that we were going to lose between the first vote and the second vote. You all said we were going to lose 10 to 15 votes. We stayed the same. We picked up a few. We lost a few. I think the ones we lost can come back. So look, there's been multiple rounds of votes for speaker before. We all know that. I just know that we need to get a speaker as soon as possible so we can get to work for the American people.
Thank you, Congressman. So just to be clear, do you plan to grind this out this weekend if you don't get the votes today? And then secondly, President Biden, as we heard last night, is sending a $100 billion foreign aid package here to Congress. Is that something that you would support?
You're making the case for why we need to get the House open so we can evaluate the package. We can't do that. Can't vote on that. Can't pass anything in that. Until we get the House open. So I got to see the package, but we certainly need to help Israel. But I got to see the package. But again, we can't do that. The House isn't open. All the more reason why we need to get the House open as soon as possible.
Mr. Jordan, what do you say to the people of Israel, Prime Minister Netanyahu, that you're not able to provide aid to Israel because the House?
I think it's telling once again we're just sitting here talking about we need to open our government.
Speaker designee from my colleagues. The sooner we can get this accomplished, the better for the American people who expect us to work for them and for our friends and allies like the great state of Israel.
In your conversation with members yesterday, were you able to get any of the ones who didn't support you previously to pledge to you that they would switch their votes for you?
We had a good conversation. We'll continue to do that. But as I point out, the fastest way to get to work for the American people is to elect a speaker so the House can be open and we can get things done. I'll take a couple more.
And your view on that. So I want to ask you two related questions. One, what was your intent when you emailed a memo to Chief of Staff Mark Meadows suggesting that Vice President Pence that he should forego any unconstitutional votes? And do you believe the 2020 election is stolen?
I think there were all kinds of problems with the 2020 election. I've been clear about that. My intention in forwarding the email was an argument made by former Inspector General for Donald Rumsfeld, accomplished lawyer who laid out an argument from the Federalist Papers. I forwarded it on to him. That was all it was.
There's a new report out that says Biden gained about 400,000 additional votes that were illegitimate.
Our plan this weekend is to get a speaker elected to the House of Representatives as soon as possible so we can help the American people. Last one.
What is your message for the people of Israel about
wasting
everyone's time when you clearly don't have the votes to be speaker?
We stand with Israel. I've been there 5 times. Amazing people, amazing country. And we should do everything we can to help them. The quickest way to do that is to elect a speaker. Thank you all very much.
So that's Jim Jordan, what he had to say before the vote today. Again, let's help Israel. Not anything about the United States. I wish one time, just one politician would say, you know what, we need to take over America, and
this vote,
once we get that figured out, we can worry about everything else.
Call vote for all members to come to the floor as they continue efforts to elect a new speaker. After this, members expected to proceed to the third ballot for the election of the Speaker of the House. Also, let you know, among Democrats, Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries held a press conference earlier. You can watch that online at cspan.org, and we'll be taking your calls and comments after the vote.
Of course he did. Because they're going to capitalize on it. Which is kind of the game, but oh well. So we're just, once again, waiting for them to show up for work. I love the fact that they can take 7 hours to show up for work.
Coverage of the House of Representatives. A quorum call is in progress right now to determine the number of lawmakers present for a third round of voting in this speaker election race. We want to get your thoughts on this next step here in the House of Representatives, the possibility of Jim Jordan being speaker if he can get the votes, although the reports are that he is likely to lose more votes than he already has in this next round of voting. So the phone numbers: Republicans 202-748-8921, Democrats 202-748-8920, and all others 202-748-8922. We'll get to your calls in a minute here. Michael Schnell is joining us, a congressional reporter with the Hill newspaper. Michael Schnell, why are they taking this quorum call right now? And what do you expect the number will be of those present for a possible third vote?
Yeah, so this has been the course of action for the previous two speaker votes as well. The quorum call is really important when you're talking about a speaker election, because we need to see how many members of Congress are actually in the chamber today, because that will determine how many
They
votes
all
Jim
should be in the
Jordan needs,
chamber
or
if
rather
they're
any
taking
speaker
this even
candidate needs
remotely
to clinch the
seriously,
nomination
which
on
we
the
know they're
House
not.
floor. Of course,
But
you need a majority of the chamber or a majority of the members present to win the gavel. Typically speaking, that's 218 votes. But there are currently 2 vacancies right now. That brings the magic number, so to speak, down to 217. As of right now, we know of one sure Republican absent, Congressman Derek Van Orden, a Republican from Wisconsin. He's currently on a fact-finding mission in Israel, so he will not be present for today's vote.
oh,
That, if
wonderful!
he's the
Somebody
only
in
absence,
Israel,
that's not
so they
expected
can't
to
vote
bring down
on
that
our
magic number, but it'll
speaker
mean that Jim Jordan will only be able
because
to
they're in
lose
Israel.
3 Republican votes rather than 4 Republican votes and still clinch
Morning,
the
Brad.
gavel. Of course, way more holdouts, lawmakers, Republican lawmakers, have said that they do not plan to vote for Jim Jordan and haven't voted for him in the past. So
Is
this
that
is
all?
likely not to be a
What do you
successful
mean,
vote
is that
for
all?
him. But that gets back to the quorum call and why this is a really important step in this entire speaker landscape.
So what is the number expected of opponents today? Will it be more than we have seen in the last 2 rounds of balloting?
That's what a lot of Jordan opponents are predicting. I spoke to Congressman Don Bacon yesterday, Republican from Nebraska. He voted
Bacon.
for Kevin McCarthy on the first 2 ballots. He said he expects the number of Jordan defectors, Jordan holdouts, to increase by 10. So on Tuesday, there were 20 Republicans who withheld support from Jim Jordan, voting for other Republican candidates. On Tuesday, that number swelled to 22. So if Don Bacon's prediction is correct, we could be well into the 30s at this point, which obviously is not a good sign for Jim Jordan and his quest for the gavel.
What happens next if that is the case?
Well, look, Jim Jordan held a brief press conference in the Capitol this morning, giving no indications that he plans to drop out anytime soon. He said that he essentially suggested that he's willing to work through the weekend and continue voting on his speakership bid until there is a speaker in place. So
If
the
nothing changes,
expectation is that if this vote does not
why
work
do
out for
they
Jim
just
Jordan, which,
continue to
as I
vote
laid out before,
over
is the
and
likely
over
outcome, he's
and
likely to go
over
back to
and
the floor,
over?
bring his nomination for a 4th vote, risking again that possibility of the number of opponents increasing. But to him, he thinks that, continuing to bring it to the floor, putting pressure on those holdouts as the government funding deadline looms, as there's a war in the Middle East that's intensifying. He's essentially, one would think that he's betting on the idea that some of these holdouts will potentially fatigue, or as time goes on, they'll be more open to negotiating, having conversations. But
They
yeah,
act
so
like
Jim
they're
Jordan this morning, no indication that he plans to step down anytime soon.
actually
There is
fighting or
reporting
something.
from
They're gonna
inside the
they're gonna
chamber
wear
as
down.
this quorum call is taking place by your colleagues on Capitol Hill that there are
It's an incentive.
lawmakers in the chamber
They don't have to
who
work.
have
They
some
don't have to
casual
do anything.
outfits on, indicating that they are not taking this threat of working over the weekend seriously, or they plan to leave anyway.
Well, look, I'm not going to try to speculate Congress's dress code, what they're wearing today. It is Friday. Sometimes it's a more casual Friday up here on dress code, what they're wearing today. It is
That's not
Friday.
me.
Sometimes
That's
it's a more
C-SPAN.
casual Friday
They
up here
just
on
replayed
Capitol
their
Hill.
own
I will
video.
note it has been a very long few weeks for Congress. If my count is correct, this is the 3rd week that the House has actually been in the building. In a row. I'm sorry, the 6th week that the House has been in the building in a row. They were supposed to be in session for 3 weeks, then take 2 weeks off and have district work period, and then be back this week. But of course, with this speakership drama, lawmakers have been in the building that entire time. So look, if they're trying to sneak in a pair of jeans or maybe a quarter zip today, I don't know if it's that they're not taking it seriously, but maybe just that they wanted a comfortable Friday as this stalemate drags on.
What happened yesterday after
Yes, I
that
did see he's
third
going to
vote? This
Israel.
third vote was canceled.
Probably
Did
give him some of California's
Jim
money,
Jordan meet behind
reparations.
closed doors with these opponents?
What's up, Alex?
Yeah, so Jim Jordan, after so initially the way yesterday was supposed to go was a conference meeting in the morning, a House Republican conference meeting behind closed doors,
I agree.
followed by
Let's
that
do it that way.
third vote. But of course, as you mentioned right there, plans for the third vote were spiked. And instead, House Republicans had a nearly 4-hour conference meeting, which even by standards up here on Capitol Hill is a pretty long time to have members behind closed doors and talking. After that closed door meeting, Jordan then went to a different meeting with a handful of those holdouts, those lawmakers who have withheld support for him and have given no indication that they plan to flip. That lasted about 2 hours. And afterwards, those Jordan holdouts left the room saying essentially that they were unchanged. I spoke to one congressman, John Rutherford. When asked if he expressed to Jim Jordan that he has no path to the gavel at this point, Rutherford said that is correct. So coming out of that meeting, holdouts were unmoved. It appears that they are dug in and will continue in that stance. But as I mentioned, Jim Jordan giving no indication he plans to give up anytime soon and is going to continue through this battle.
You can follow Michael Schnell's reporting if you go to thehill.com. Michael
He's
Schnell,
not really
we
giving
appreciate your
up.
time. We know
Somebody
you're
has
busy
to-
up there.
I mean, I
Thank you.
get the game, but
Thanks for having
somebody
me.
has to nominate him. And
All right, let's go to your calls and get your reaction to
has
what
to be
you just
somewhat
learned there
consensus.
from Michael Schnell. Daniel in Canton, Ohio, Republican. Your turn, Daniel.
I see a lot of Republicans in wolves. What do you call it? Disguised as wolf. A
Okay.
lot of Republicans I'm starting to see is
Yeah, this guy's
they're
brilliant.
really for real Democrat. They're really for real liberal. Look, I'm from the state of Ohio. We don't, that just says that Jim Jordan represents us. We're not no bull crap.
So you're rooting for Jim Jordan here.
No more malarkey.
I'm from Ohio. I just said that.
Okay, well, that doesn't necessarily mean to be rooting for him, but you are.
He represents the state of Ohio.
All right. Deanne in Port St. Lucie, Florida.
That's
Hi,
kind of
Deanne.
funny.
Good morning.
Morning.
I am for Jim
Wait.
Jordan.
Dan isn't a man?
These few Republicans that are holding out
night,
for
Mandy.
whatever their reasons, I just pray to God Almighty that he would touch their hearts. And when they stand up on this vote today, that the name Jim Jordan would come out their mouths in Jesus' name, and that the Republicans would stand together. Like I said, the only thing they can learn from the Democrats is they at least stand together. These Republicans need to come together today and confirm Jim Jordan as Speaker of the House in Jesus' name. Amen.
Okay.
All right, Deanne, and you will
I'm
find out
starting to kinda
how
love
each
these people
lawmaker
calling
votes
in,
because the
'cause-
clerk will call them out by last name in alphabetical order. They will give the name, the surname of who they want to be speaker today. So you'll hear Democrats, as they have
we have
all
11
along,
that haven't
say the name
decided if they were there
Jeffries.
yet.
We will see what 20 plus Republicans do when it's their turn to nominate from their party a Speaker of the House. Brian
gonna
in
nominate Jim
Houston,
Jordan.
Indiana, Independent. Hi, Brian.
Hi. Yeah, I'm for Jim Jordan. These holdouts need to just end their stupidity. All they're doing is exactly like they did with McCarthy, making the Republican Party look like a bunch of idiots. Jeffries has no business even being nominated for Speaker, and Jim Jordan would
What's up,
Oh,
be a
Matt?
good
So
Speaker of the House.
All right, Brian, following
Gates
up
voted
on
yet. No,
the
no one's voted
previous
yet.
caller and
Safu.
the party
We're-
calling on
we're
the party
deciding
to be
whether or not
united.
we're
You
present
Democrats, look
or
at the
not.
number for Republicans.
They're trying
Of
to figure
those
out who showed up
surveyed
to
who are
work.
Republican voters, they said 33%
So time's been
said
out
their party is
for
united, while 40% said it's
I've
not.
been out to
Myrtle in
vote for
Hammond,
quorum
South
for about 10
Carolina,
minutes. So
Republican. Hello,
those
Myrtle.
last 10 might be
Hey,
trying
how
to
you
figure it
doing?
out
Good
right
morning.
now. They're
Yes,
probably
my comment
conferencing to
is
see
that
if they're
I wish
indeed there.
these that's holding out too much will come on and vote for Jim Jordan, the guy that's voting with Kevin McCarthy, which you don't want to go back in. To go ahead with Jim Jordan. I seen this same stuff go on when they voted for Kevin, that the little Matt Gaetz was one of the main problems at the end of it, and I see that he was the
I
one
have
that
no
started
idea
this
anything
about
she just
getting
said.
McKevin out.
Did
They're gonna
anybody
keep on
catch
till
that?
they get another Democrat in there. It's going to be just the same way with Pelosi, which would be a bad thing. But please, I pray that these Republicans just come on and open up and vote for Jim.
All right.
Thank
The quorum call, the bed check to see who is here in Washington and who is in the chamber for this next round of voting for Speaker is out of time. But as you
That
can
doesn't mean
see,
anything.
under the NV not voting column, there are 9 lawmakers. So they will likely keep this open until they get those 9 in the chamber and marked as present. And then they will move on to nomination speeches, as you've heard before.
What the hell?
After that,
Why would you
it will
leave it
be the
open?
roll call
Like,
vote
isn't the
for
part of the
Speaker of the
time
House.
to?
Tom in Hanover, Illinois, Democratic caller. Hi, Tom.
It's just little things that they could figure out, and they could make a huge difference, but they
Honestly,
won't.
the Republicans that are holding out against Jordan have very good reasons. Threatening their families and pressure
Oh,
campaigns.
kiss my ass.
That's not how politics is supposed to work. That's how
Politics has worked
gangsters
forever.
work. Our politicians are supposed to be better than that. If there were real problem solvers in the Republican Party, 6 of them would go over, vote for Jeffries, and get the House back open.
Oh, shut the hell
Deborah,
up.
an independent.
Fucking
Hi,
loser.
Deborah.
Good
Surprised you
afternoon.
get
Good
signal
morning.
in your mom's
I
basement
think
like that.
Jim Jordan is a clear and present danger to this country. I would like to see him replaced by, say, a Romney. Someone is a
What the
true
hell?
Republican who
All
believes
right,
in
now
the
we're getting into the good ones again.
standpoint and the Republican values. The problem with Jim Jordan is he has no values, and he is
Mitt
a
Romney has
liar,
Republican
and he is
values?
a election denier. And
Shit, now we're in the
I
trolls.
think that he is a MAGA, which we do not
Yes, he
need
is.
anymore. We've had
Yes, he
enough
is.
of this turmoil for the last 6 years. We need to get down to the business
Oh,
of the
we
country.
haven't even started
and I'm
yet,
afraid that
Grandma.
he's going to do something to Social Security and to Medicare. And there's a
There
lot
it
of
is.
people in this country who live on those 2 things. Thank you very much for
Well, you
taking
should
my
have been
call.
physically
All right, Deborah.
responsible,
Bradley, Elton,
fiscally
Virginia,
responsible,
Republican.
and
Hi,
not relied
Bradley.
on the government.
Good morning. Thank you for taking my call.
Hey, Bradley, mute that television, all right? And then you'll be ready to talk through the phone.
I got it muted. Thank
All
you
right.
very much.
Go ahead.
All right, I think that Jim Jordan would be a good Speaker of the House.
Jim
But
Gordon?
if this fails this time, I think what they need to do is go back and select another one. And I believe that Representative Ben Klein from Virginia would be a good one. He's worked both sides very well with each other.
All right,
Thank you.
Bradley's thoughts there. In Virginia, we are 17 days without a Speaker of the House.
Oh, the
YouGov
humanity.
asked that question in their recent poll.
17 days,
by
but the government's still
51%
spending a
to
hell of a lot of
5,
money. The national debt
Americans
just
are more
jumped
likely to
again.
say that the
We're at
lack of a House Speaker is hurting
33.7 or
rather than the helping
$33.7
the
trillion
U.S. government's
in
ability
debt.
to do
So,
its work.
surprise,
Pamela,
surprise, they
Lake
can
Worth,
even
Florida,
still spend
Democratic
money
caller. Hi, Pamela.
when they're not supposed to be able to. That's a skill.
17 days without a Speaker of the House.
Oh,
Jim
no.
Jordan and the MAGA Republicans are bringing down the U.S. government from the House
Oh, yeah, we are, bitch.
of Representatives.
You just wait. We just getting started.
We cannot allow Jim Jordan the power of the purse. Those who do not learn from history are doomed to repeat it. Don't let them touch our Social Security checks.
Oh, there we go again.
Pamela, Democratic
See,
caller
anybody
there in
who's
Florida.
dependent
Ray,
on
also
the
Democrat in
checks
Fort Wayne, Indiana. Hi, Ray.
has a problem with
Hi,
Jim Jordan.
morning.
Weird.
I honestly believe that our country will be ran a lot better if there was a woman running our country. For the history of our country, the president has always been men. It's time for a woman to take charge of our country and stop all this bickering that's going on right now.
You think a woman's not
And
going
who
to
would
bicker?
that be, Ray?
What the hell?
We have vilified so many smart women, Hillary Clinton, Carly Fiorina on both sides, also Nancy Pelosi, our current vice president.
This man is making me very
Kamala
happy this
Harris.
morning.
The biggest argument they make about her is the way she laughs. Come on, let's get serious in our country. There are plenty of women, smart women.
Who,
on
about
both
Hillary?
sides of
No,
the
it's
aisle
that she
can do a
killed
great
300
job of
people.
running this country.
Fuck.
Tampa,
I mean,
Florida.
allegedly.
Steve, Republican. Steve, who do you want to be Speaker of the House?
I'd like Jim Jordan to be Speaker, but I'd also back Steve Scalise. My perspective comes from a disappointment
I think
in
he
the
said Pelosi
abridgment
was
of
smart,
rights
but
by the Biden administration and the deficits that we're running. I know
well,
leftists
that's good.
are not
Reform convict.
concerned with the
And I'm not
deficits because I
vilifying the
spoke to
whole
my son
program.
who's a leftist yesterday.
I know
But
some people,
we are running deficits
you know,
that
shit
are
happens
going
and some people
to
rely on it.
change America and the
However, I
war in
am
Ukraine and how we send money
vilifying
abroad.
that you don't have
And
the money
also
to
for
spend
migrants,
on
we need to help Americans.
exhaustive
And
programs
young
anymore.
people can't afford to buy homes.
And we have to make
Young
reforms
people
or
can't afford
they're
to have
going to be
children.
gone. So
And so, you know, I am very concerned about that. And I think we
it's
need
the
somebody
balance.
to
You have there's
put
a
stop
balancing
to the
test.
Biden
You have to be able
administration.
to
Steve,
balance interests.
did
And
you approve of
it never
the
has been. It's
ousting
just
of
spend
Kevin
more, spend
McCarthy
more,
as
spend more.
Speaker?
We'll figure it out later. Spend more.
Absolutely. The Inflation
And we can't
Reduction
run it
Act
like
was
that
made
anymore.
possible by McConnell and McCarthy.
Got to make hard
And
choices.
even Democrats have admitted it doesn't reduce inflation, it's increasing it. And I don't know about you, but, you know, paying for food and gas is becoming impossible.
All right,
Yes, it is.
Steve, we are more than 2 weeks from that day when 8 Republicans voted to oust Kevin McCarthy from the speakership. Today, on this Friday morning, we
Hello,
are watching
humanity.
as there
Somebody
is
was
a
held accountable because they
quorum
weren't doing their
call
job.
happening in the House of Representatives. As you can see, they're still waiting on 8 members, 2 Republicans, 6 Democrats to make their way to the chamber and mark themselves present so that they can proceed to a third round of ballots
Yeah, let's
for
just
the
wait another half an hour for people
nomination
to
of Jim
fucking show
Jordan.
up to
Jim
work.
Jordan pushing forward today with that third vote. He also told reporters and members that he would work through
This
the
Colin Show's the
weekend
best stand-up
and
comedy
keep
special I've listened to in a long time.
with
I know. I
more
was half thinking,
votes to see
damn,
if
we
he
should
can
do a
gain ground here.
a
According to
C-SPAN
reports on
Colin
Capitol
show,
Hill,
just
however,
show and just
the
make fun of people.
opposition will
That'd be
grow
fun.
today. We heard from Michael Schnell that it was 20 on Tuesday this week, 22 on Wednesday, and today
I can
there
never
are
say the
reports
Clintons
that
have
it could be
associates
30
self-deleting after
plus
bleeding out. Right.
of his
Right.
GOP colleagues who vote in opposition to him as Speaker. Jimmy in
I mean,
Buffalo,
when
Independent. Hi,
you
Jimmy.
have gunshots that were supposedly
I just want to say that as an
self-inflicted,
independent who has voted for who I thought was the best
but
candidate,
nobody can
whether
find
they
the
were
gun
Republican
because
or
it's gone.
Democratic, I find it very
That's
interesting that the
impressive.
Republican Party, especially Kevin McCarthy, is trying to blame Democrats for this fiasco when he himself said he would not reach out across the aisle because he wanted to be a red speaker. This is and I also think it's fair to say that we are constantly lumping Republicans into the MAGA wagon when they're
The
really
who?
not. There
The
are
what wagon?
Republicans that are moderate, as there are Democrats. There are mega people that are part of the cult, the 8 that disposed McCarthy for whatever reason. He did
Yes,
it
the
somehow
only
by agreeing to the one vote for one person
slightly
to be able to bring it
accountable
to the
people
floor.
are part of the cult.
We need to stop vilifying true Republicans. Push the blame where it belongs. It starts with Donald Trump and works its way down. Thank you.
All right.
Oh, we got to a Donald Trump
YouGov did
call.
another
Fantastic.
poll on
Has nothing
whether
to
or
do with
not it
Donald
was a
Trump,
good
even
idea to
remotely. But
remove
we got a
Kevin
call,
McCarthy
boys and
as
girls.
Speaker, and they found by 43 to 36%, Republicans now disapprove of the removal of Kevin McCarthy. That was at 33 to 32% around early October. And they
If you're
saw
having
that
any
number
political
increase
discourse
for
whatsoever,
Republicans, 43 to
like,
43 to
I think there should
37,
be an over-under bet on
36%
how long
early
before
October,
Donald
and it
Trump
has
gets brought up.
grown
Like
that more Republicans
Central Brazilian
disapprove
politics
of
on
his removal.
recycling.
Mary in
Donald
Port
Trump's going to get brought
Austin,
up.
Michigan, Democratic caller.
Hi, I'm glad to see Jim Jordan losing. He does not ever need to be Speaker of the House. You
Oh,
cannot have an
for the
election
call.
denier in that position. It's time for the moderate Republicans to work with the Democrats on a power-sharing agreement and get our government back in business.
No,
Thank you.
All right.
no,
Now, this is just a
absolutely
quorum
not.
call. This is not the vote. As you can see, they are just finding out who's present right now. And there are 2 Republicans missing,
We're not
4
splitting power. We're
Democrats
not giving
missing.
Democrats any power
It doesn't look like
whatsoever.
they're in a hurry to
It's
bring
not
this
gonna happen.
quorum to a close because they want everyone that is in Washington, all the lawmakers in Washington, in the chamber for this next round of voting for Speaker. We've learned earlier from Michael Schnell, and you've probably heard the reporting as well, that there are 2 vacancies in the House. So the total number of lawmakers in the House of Representatives is 433. But today it'll be 432 because Congressman Derek Van Orden, a
trying,
Republican
buddy.
of
Keep
Wisconsin, a Jordan supporter, will not
Medicaid
be
is used
here
funded
in
by the states, not the
Washington.
federal government.
He
All
is
right.
in Israel
On this, it's
for
called
a
Virginia Medicaid. It's a
fact-finding
state
trip.
run. Yeah.
Lisa in
I know they
Derry, New
receive
Hampshire,
federal funds, but
Republican. Hi there.
yeah, they're
Hi.
initiated and ran by the
I
states.
am a Jim
So.
Jordan supporter, and I'm hearing a lot from Democrats thinking that we are divided.
Yep.
What the Republicans are in the process of doing are cleaning out.
They were in session a grand total of 17 minutes yesterday.
And those who are putting their
and still going to get the paycheck.
Differences before what the people want, and the people are being very clear that we want Jim Jordan.
Yep.
It's also on the internet through social media that a lot of us long-term Republicans
that happens all the time
are thinking of changing and creating a new party. We are not MAGA. We are people who are tired of the same old in our government.
Alicia, how do you know it's Americans who want Jim Jordan to be speaker, or, Republican voters?
Yes, we are going to see a vote. They have to decide if they're there or not. This takes like an hour and a half, I think, the other day.
Studying on the internet.
This is not uncommon.
And I try to get a lot of information and simplify the complicated issues. I read comments.
So we're just waiting for them to decide whether or not they're present for the vote.
I'm seeing a trend.
This has been pretty consistent with all the ones we've watched. Usually takes about an hour and a half. That's why I'm not hell bent on getting there like right at 10 o'clock for a 10 o'clock vote, because the 10 o'clock vote's like 11.
27 members have recorded their presence. The question now recurs on the election of a speaker.
427.
If the tellers will please come forward.
214? Shit. 214. Magic number is 214. Let's see what they get. Oh, wait, the woman was just happy to see Jordan losing by just taking attendance. 427 in attendance. Yep, 214 should be the magic number unless they're going to admit people after, but I think the quorum should be up to 214. Now, interestingly, Jeffries has been getting, obviously, the entire Democratic bloc, so he's been getting 212 every single time. So that could have been part of the strategy, just to keep it over that 212 line to make sure that he's not incidentally elected. Which I think is still their plan anyways. I think they're still going to end up electing Jeffries.
House will come to order. Nominations are now in order. The chair recognizes the gentleman from California, Mr. McCarthy.
Mr. Speaker, I rise to nominate Jim Jordan for the Speaker of the House.
Damn power move. There's the clapping seals. So accustomed to.
Now, I've listened to the speeches this week, and I can already tell you what my friends on the other side will say using their poll-tested phrases. But let me correct the record. Jim Jordan is an effective legislator. To legislate is about more than the name on the bill. It's about reaching compromise and working long hours behind the scenes to get the job done.
The House will come to order. Gentlemen may resume.
When you are the chairman of a committee, you are responsible for dozens of bills passing the House and being signed into law. So let me tell you a few facts that don't come out of the polls. As the leader of the Judiciary Committee, Jim has passed more bills through the House in just 3 years than the entire Democrat leadership team that has their collective 28 years in Congress.
This is obviously a power move, trying to bring McCarthy out, the former speaker, to endorse the current speaker, Jim Jordan.
Mr. Aguilar has a whopping one whole bill signed into law, a post office in San Bernardino. I guess that's good enough to be caucus chair. Jim Jordan, on the other hand, has a hand in drafting bills like the REINS Act to curb unaccountable bureaucrats. He helped negotiate and pass H.R. 2, the strongest border security bill this House has ever passed. And many of you know, because you were in the room, watching Jim find compromise, watching Jim listen to your positions, and finding a bill that can pass. And let's put this in reality. We've had large majorities, but we never could pass a border security bill. That takes leadership. Now they're going to get upset by it. Why? Because every single Democrat voted against securing our border. Democrats are attacking Jim because they don't want the American people to remember
I'm not entirely
that
sure.
they voted against securing and keeping a wide open border. They may not want the American public to know the number of people we catch on the terrorist watch list. They may not want people to know what the future holds in the security for our nation based upon their policies. Name me one bill Democrats passed that would secure our border. I'm waiting. You can't, because they haven't. Mr. Speaker, the truth is, if we measure lawmakers by how many bills have their name on it, we are using the wrong measuring stick. Some of my members I know with the most bills to their name are the most selfish. Jim Jordan, on the other hand, is one of the most selfless members I've known. I've known Jim a long time, so I want to do something different. I actually called the freshman members on his committee and asked them, what do you think of your chairman? Here's just a few. I quote, Jim empowers every member of judiciary to pursue what interests them. I quote by another, he lets each of us take the lead on the issues that are important to us, even letting freshmen and junior members take important roles. Another one, he trusts our judgment on how we handle issues and witnesses, and always seeks our input on key issues. Another, as a freshman, he had me lead off a hearing that related to my subject matter expertise, and he goes out of his way to highlight member successes. He is straightforward, honest, and reliable. That is who Jim Jordan is, and that's what being a speaker is all about. Now, some of you might not know this, but Jim and I have a long history. We created because we take our job serious. I first met Jim as a candidate, I traveled to Ohio. I remember pulling up for breakfast at a Bob Evans in Ohio. There was Jim having a meeting, listening to constituents. I traveled with him throughout the day, from Rotary to Farm Bureau, to just listening to people that had concerns. And I watched them, the same Jim Jordan I see today. He was a leader, a listener, and a fighter. We were actually elected
What's up with the past
to
10?
Congress that same year and became close friends. It was a small class. There was only 13 of us, one of the smallest Republican classes in modern history. Over time, we took different routes. Jim actually ran against me for leader in 2018. It was a hard-fought battle.
Exactly.
But I
If he was
never
half of what he
once
was saying, he would still be the
his
speaker.
skills or commitment to this conference or this country. After the race, I became leader, and we had an opening for the ranking member on House Oversight. Jim didn't even apply for the job. I walked into steering, didn't tell steering. I walked into the other room, and I picked up the phone, and I called Jim. I said, I know you're not running for the job, but I believe in what Jim Collins says in the book, Good to Great. You put the right people in the right seats on the bus. And Jim, you and I may have challenged one another, but you were the right person for that seat. And it was right when he took that job. It was right again when I asked Jim to step up and join the Intel Committee when Democrats put politics over people and turned the Intel Committee into an impeachment committee.
This man
It
speaking
was right
makes me want to
again when we
sleep.
asked Jim to step up and be the right person to lead Judiciary Committee as chairman.
I fall asleep. Somebody
And Jim is the right person to take
Somebody
that
call
seat
me.
behind me to be our next Speaker of the House. Mr. Speaker, we have an important job to do. The American people expect us to focus on the most pressing issues. We've watched what the Democrat majority has done and brought us inflation like we haven't seen since the 70s. We've watched what the Democrats have done by opening up our border, bringing fentanyl, killing Americans each and every day. And now we have a war in Israel. This country is too great for small visions. Trust me, being Speaker is not an easy job, especially in this conference. But I've seen Jim spend his entire career fighting for freedom, no matter what, no matter the odds, and I know he is ready for the job. And so it is my honor to say, as a member of the Republican Conference, I am directed by the vote of that conference to present for the election to the office of Speaker of the House of Representatives the name of my friend, the Honorable Jim Jordan, a representative from the state of Ohio. I yield back.
Well, thank God he's done. All right. his delivery style of talking is just so drawn out.
The chair now recognizes the gentlewoman from Massachusetts, Ms. Clark.
Thank you, Mr.
They're still at this
Chair.
waxing.
212. It's a New York area code. And it's our call for a
Just about to
speaker
dock somebody.
of integrity, intelligence, and inclusion. 212 is our call for a speaker who will protect our children, our veterans, our planet. 212 is our call for a speaker who will grow the middle class, lower costs, create good paying jobs, and make healthcare affordable. 212 is our call for a speaker who will secure liberty, justice, and opportunity for everyone. Well, the unanimous call of 212 House Democrats has been answered by our nominee for Speaker, the gentleman from Brooklyn, the leader of our House Democratic Caucus, the Honorable Hakeem Jeffries.
Ooh, same guy again. And he's the same guy they've nominated
Leader
last time.
Jeffries has answered our call, but the majority's nominee is disconnected from the American people and their values. MAGA extremism is designed to divide, and it has broken the Republican Party. Their nominee's vision is a direct attack on the freedom and the rights of the American people, and he's got the record to prove it. The Republican nominee has voted against health care for children, for veterans, even for 9/11 survivors. He has opposed lowering the cost of insulin repeatedly. He wants to cut Social Security and Medicare. Don't take it from me. It was raised on the other side of the aisle just this week as a selling point to make him Speaker. Over his 16 years in the House, the Republican nominee has never supported a farm bill. What does that mean? What does that mean? It means he has turned his back on farmers, on rural communities, and the 11 million children who go to bed hungry in this country. The Republican nominee wants a national abortion ban with no exceptions for rape, incest, or the
You gotta
health
stop with that
of
word.
another.
Shit. Every time I get demonetized, somebody says
Want to
that.
make our own healthcare decisions in consultation with our families, our doctors, our faith.
I don't give a
not
damn.
With Jim Jordan.
Because of children.
The Republican nominee plotted to overturn the 2020 election, traffics in misinformation, and is a true threat to our democracy and our Constitution.
Have you even read it? Apparently you haven't.
I have had the privilege of working here in the People's House for almost 10 years. And I've gotten to know many of my colleagues on the other side of the aisle. And I know that you hear the same thing that I do. The American people expect us to work together on their behalf.
We actually don't anymore because we know you're absolutely worthless. So we very low expectations at this point. If you show up to work once a week, we're kind of impressed.
Too late for the majority to choose a bipartisan path forward to reopen the House. Take yes for an answer. Every day, the majority chooses to engage in a Republican civil war that is threatening their own members instead of engaging with us in the work of the American people is a day that weakens this institution and the standing of our country. We need a speaker who will govern through consensus, not conflict. We need a speaker worthy of wielding that gavel, a leader who will defend democracy, not degrade it.
Vote yes? No, that's
More
not an
than
option.
ever.
The options
We
on this
need
vote are
proven,
Jeffries or Jordan.
patriotic, people first leadership. And that is why I am proud to nominate Hakeem Jeffries as Speaker of the House.
999.
Exactly. Now you're getting it. What's up backwards? Yeah, it's all a game. Oh, shut up, please, man. Stop doing that. It's always a game. They don't take this seriously. They don't take themselves seriously. They don't take their position seriously. So anyways, what I was saying is, like, at some point, why would you want to continue to lose?
The reading
Jeffries
clerk
has
will
lost,
now
what,
call the roll.
18 at this point? Like, nah, yeah,
Adams.
I appreciate it, but...
Jeffries.
All right, we'll listen in, and I'll let you
Adderholt.
guys know when we get to the important ones.
Jordan.
We are voting.
Aguilar. Jeffries. Alford. Jordan. Allen. Jordan. Allred. Jeffries. Amode. Jordan. Armstrong. Jordan. Arrington. Jordan. Auchincloss. Jeffries. Babin. Jordan. Bacon. McHenry.
Ooh. Bacon hasn't voted for Jordan the entire time, though, so that's not crazy.
Baird. Jordan. Balderson. Jordan. Ballant. Jeffries. Banks. Jordan. Barr. Jordan. Bedegan. Jeffries.
Buchanan and Buck will be the
Bean
next
of
ones up.
Florida.
That
Jordan.
matter heavily.
Beatty. Jeffries. Bentz. Jordan. Barra. Jeffries. Bergman. Jordan. Byer. Jeffries. Bice. Jordan. Biggs. Jordan. Bilirakis. Jordan. Bishop of Georgia. Jeffries. Bishop of North Carolina. Jordan. Blumenauer. Jeffries. Blunt Rochester. Jeffries. Bobert. Jordan. Bonamici. Jeffries.
Oh yeah, the seal clapping, especially when they vote for
Bast.
themselves, it's pretty disgusting.
Bast. Bowman. Jeffries. Boyle of Pennsylvania. Jeffries. Burkeen. Jordan. Brown. Jeffries. Brownlee. Jeffries. Buchanan. Donalds.
So Vern Buchanan voted for Jim Jordan the first time. He voted for some random person the second time, and he's voted against or for a different speaker this third time around. So
Buck. Emmer.
same thing with Ken Buck. Ken Buck has voted for others the first 2 rounds, and he is obviously voting again in this third round for an other candidate.
Bouchon. Jordan. Budzinski. Jordan. Burchett. Bush.
I don't know what's happening there. That's not my end.
Jeffries. Calvert. Jordan. Kamick. Jordan. Caraveo. Jeffries. Carbajal. Jeffries. Cardenas. Jeffries. Carey.
The next
Jordan.
former dissenting vote is Laurie
Carl.
Chavez de Remmer. So she voted for Kevin McCarthy the first 2
Jordan.
rounds.
Carson. Jeffries. Carter of Georgia. Jordan. Carter of Louisiana. Jeffries. Carter of Texas. Jordan. Cartwright. Jeffries.
That was awful.
Kassar.
Awful cartoony.
Jeffries.
You get what I'm saying there? Jeffries.
Case. Jeffries. Caston. Jeffries. Castor of Florida. Jeffries. Castro of Texas. Jeffries. Chavez de Remer. McHenry.
Okay, so that was the next one. Again, she voted for Kevin McCarthy in the first 2 rounds and has voted against Jim Jordan in this round. So
Shearfullis McCormick. Jeffries.
So one more.
Chu.
Trying to do the math. 14.
Jeffries. Siscomani.
Should be 6.
Jordan.
6 will be the lucky number, or the
Clark of
6
Massachusetts.
will end the voting. Well, it won't end the
Jeffries.
voting. They'll still go through the process, but
Clark of New York.
if they get to 6 in that others category,
Jeffries.
then Jim Jordan will fail
Cleaver.
to secure speaker on the third
Jeffries.
vote.
Klein. Jordan. Cloud. Jordan. Clyburn. Jeffries. Clyde. Jordan. Cohen. Jeffries. Cole. Jordan. Collins. Jordan. Comer. Jordan. Connolly. Jeffries. Correa. Jeffries. Costa. Jeffries. Courtney. Jeffries. Craig. Jeffries. Crane. Jordan. Crawford. Jordan. Crenshaw.
I'm glad X-Comer voted for
Jordan.
Jim Jordan again.
Crockett. Jeffries. Crow. Jeffries. Cuellar. Jeffries. Curtis. Jordan. Davids of Kansas. Jeffries. Davidson. Jordan. Davis of Illinois. Jeffries. Davis of North Carolina. Jeffries. Dean of Pennsylvania. Jeffries. DeGette. Jeffries. De la Cruz. Jordan. DeLauro. Jeffries. Del Bene. Jeffries. Deluzio. Jeffries. Desanye. Jeffries. Desjardins. Jordan. D'Esposito. Zeldin. Diaz-Balart. Scalise. Dingle. Jeffries. Doggett. Jeffries. Donalds. Jordan. Duarte. Jordan. Duncan. Jordan. Dunn of Florida. Jordan. Edwards. Jordan. Elsie. Mike Garcia. Emmer. Jordan. Escobar. Jeffries. Eshu. Jeffries. Espaillat. Jeffries. Estes. Jordan. Evans. Jeffries. Ezel. Jordan. Fallon. Jordan. Feenstra. Jordan. Ferguson. Scalise. Finstad. Jordan. Fishbach. Jordan. Fitzgerald. Jordan. Fitzpatrick. McHenry. Fleischman. Jordan. Fletcher. Jeffries. Flood. Jordan. Foster. Jeffries. Fushi. Jeffries. Fox. Fox. Lois Frankel. Jeffries. Scott Franklin. Jordan. Frost. Jeffries. Fry. Jordan. Fulcher. Jordan. Gates. Jordan. Gallagher. Jordan. Gallego. Jeffries. Garamendi. Jeffries. Garbarino. Zeldin. Mike Garcia.
And that's
Jordan.
for sure, boys and girls. He will not have the
Robert
votes
Garcia.
to become speaker on the third ballot.
Jeffries.
We'll be going to a fourth. Who knows when that will
Garcia of
happen
Illinois.
since they've been doing one a day.
Jeffries. Garcia of Texas. Jeffries. Jimenez. McCarthy.
In the words of Grand Theft Auto, ah, shit, here we go again.
Golden of Maine. Jeffries. Goldman of New York. Jeffries. Gomez. Jeffries. Tony Gonzalez.
So the speaker is the third most powerful
Police.
person in the U.S. I would argue that they're the most powerful person in the U.S. because they have extensive
Vicente
powers
Gonzalez.
beyond that of the other representatives.
Vicente Gonzalez.
But they are third in line for the presidency of the United States. So it goes president, vice president,
Good of Virginia.
speaker of the House,
Jordan.
and then
Gooden of Texas. Jordan.
that's realistically about as far as it needs to go. But yeah,
Gosar. Jordan. Gottheimer. Jeffries. Granger. Scalise. Graves of Louisiana.
and I argue that
Jordan.
because the president is not supposed to be a legislature
Graves
or
of Missouri.
legislator.
Jordan.
They are
Green of Tennessee.
they were never
Jordan.
intended to be, but obviously
Green of Texas.
legislation comes from Congress, so laws come from Congress, and laws can only be
Jeffries.
brought by the Speaker of the House.
Green of Georgia. Jordan. Griffith. Jordan. Grijalva.
When it's working correctly, I should say.
Jeffries. Grothman. Jordan.
We'll finally get Jim Jordan when the AK guy
Guest.
goes there with the AK-50
Jordan.
replacement of Tony Gonzalez.
Guthrie. Jordan.
Honestly, Jordan needs a lot of
Hageman.
votes. The neocons are really
Jordan.
holding strong on this one.
Harder of California.
I still contend they're going to
Jeffries.
flip and elect
Harris.
Hakeem Jeffries. You're going to get neocons
Jordan.
flip somewhere in the 8th, 9th ballot
Harshbarger.
was my guess from the beginning.
Jordan.
Should be
Hayes.
devastating for
Jeffries.
our political system. But
Kern.
I feel like they're cowardly just enough
Jordan.
to do it.
Higgins of Louisiana. Jordan. Higgins of New York. Jeffries.
I know, right? It's just a burnt vote. I don't
Hill.
know. They waste so much
Jordan.
time on nothing.
Himes. Jeffries. Henson. Jordan. Horsford. Jeffries. Houchin. Jordan. Houlihan. Jeffries. Hoyer. Jeffries. Hoyle of Oregon.
Now, the other interesting thing is they
Jeffries.
could maybe get a compromise because they were
Hudson.
talking about, Jordan was talking about
Jordan.
elections over the weekend.
Huffman.
And that would obviously be
Jeffries.
very, very interesting. And some
Huizinga.
members have already publicly
Jordan.
stated that they're going back to their
Hunt.
districts this weekend and would not be here for the vote. So
Hunt.
you could get something there where you only needed,
Isa.
200 people.
Jordan.
But then you run the risk of Jeffries winning. So you're going to have to
Ivy.
stay above that 212. It's such a joke.
Ivy. Jeffries.
Which could, again, be the plan without having to vote. Just tank it so that Jeffries wins.
Jackson of
without
Illinois.
having to put your name on the record.
Jeffries.
It'd be the cowardly way to do
Jackson
it, so
of
that's
North
probably how
Carolina.
they do it.
Jeffries. Jackson of Texas. Jordan. Jackson Lee. Jeffries. Jacobs.
Just have a good old brawl.
James.
All the old people would drop like flies.
Donalds.
I'd be okay with that.
Jayapal.
So the
Jeffries.
GOP talking points are going to be, even with Kevin
Jeffries.
McCarthy's endorsement, he couldn't win. So we should move on from
Jeffries.
Jim Jordan. Oh, he voted for himself. We all got to clap. Clap, you dumb bastards. In the words of Joe Biden.
Johnson of Georgia. Jeffries. Johnson of Louisiana. Jordan. Johnson of Ohio. Jordan. Johnson of South Dakota. Jordan. Jordan. Jordan.
Yeah.
Joyce of Ohio. Jordan. Joyce of Pennsylvania. Jordan. Cam Lager-Dove. Jeffries. Captor. Jeffries. Kane of New Jersey.
Jeffries is a Democrat.
McCarthy.
Jordan is a Republican. The Republicans have the majority in the House.
Keating. Jeffries.
And yeah, the
Kelly of Illinois.
but that's what I'm saying. You could see
Jeffries.
crossover to
Kelly of Mississippi.
of Republicans to Democrats, but that
Jordan.
number changes based on Comer. So
Kelly of Pennsylvania.
and the Democrats have voted in lockstep every
Luis.
single round with Hakeem Jeffries. Jeffries is going to get 212. So if the Republicans can't guarantee 212,
Kana.
then theoretically, even with the
Jeffries.
majority, the Republicans
Higgins of
could lose
Virginia.
the seat to a Democrat
McHenry.
if they're not careful with the way that they're doing things.
Kildee. Jeffries. Kylie. Jordan. Kilmer. Jeffries. Kim of California.
So, for example, there's 430.
Jordan.
There's
Kim of New
433
Jersey.
because there's 2
Jeffries.
vacated seats. So
Krishnamurthy.
that's where you get that
Jeffries.
217 number
Custer.
from. So you have to have 217 votes.
Jeffries. Kustoff.
So it's not a majority of who's there, because if it
LaHood.
was, Jeffries would have won
Jordan.
the first 2 rounds because he got more than Jim Jordan.
Lalota. Zeldin. LaMalfa. Jordan. Lamborn. Jordan. Landsman. Jeffries. Langworthy.
And just looking at the roster, the previous no votes for
Larson
Jim
of
Jordan,
Washington.
we've had 8. So
Jeffries. Larson of Connecticut. Jeffries.
7 because Lamaffa voted for. So Lamaffa didn't vote for Jordan in the first round, but he has in the second
Latta.
and third round.
Jordan.
And we had one flip. Tom
Turner.
Keene has voted Jim Jordan both times.
Jordan.
So he has now
Lawler.
voted for Kevin McCarthy.
McHenry.
So Jim's going to be, there'll be
Lee
probably
of
that
California.
23, 24 others votes this go around.
Jeffries. Lee of Florida. Jordan. Lee of Nevada. Jeffries. Lee of Pennsylvania. Jeffries. Ledger Fernandez. Jeffries. Lesko.
Shenny, like
Jordan.
someone said earlier, the Republicans could learn something from the
Letlow.
Dems. Loyalty to the party is something
Jordan.
this important. I
Levin.
agree and disagree. I think
Jeffries.
that
Lou.
I think the dissent's fine.
Jeffries.
I don't think we send.
Lofgren.
I don't think we vote
Jeffries.
for the D on the name
Loudermilk.
to send a block or the R on the name
Jordan.
to send a block. I think we should
Lucas.
evaluate each individual
Jordan.
opportunity, and people
Luke
should
Kameyer.
vote with their constituents and
Jordan.
their ideology
Luna.
more than they should just because they have an R or D next to their name.
Jordan.
But
Luttrell. Jordan.
they are getting
Lynch.
dangerously close to a government shutdown.
Jeffries. Mace.
I believe that they have
Jordan.
7 legislative days left in
Magaziner.
office
Jeffries.
until the shutdown.
Maliotakis. Jordan.
And at this rate and this pace,
Mann.
it's going to be close
Jordan.
to government shutdown.
Manning. Jeffries. Massey. Jordan. Mast. Jordan. Matsui. Jeffries. McBath. Jeffries. McCarthy. Jordan. McCall. Jordan. McLean.
I agree. I think this is 100%
Jordan.
orchestrated to attain a goal.
McClellan. Jeffries. McClintock. Jordan. McCullum. Jeffries. McCormick. Jordan. McGarvey. Jeffries. McGovern. Jeffries. McHenry. Jordan. Meeks.
You think so, Cheesy?
Jeffries.
I
Menendez.
don't think there's a chance in hell.
Jeffries.
Because there'd be
Mang.
6 holdouts, so 8. I don't think there's a chance in
Jeffries.
hell that they would vote
Muser.
for McCarthy again.
Jordan.
There's enough America First
Mfume.
to not have to
Jeffries.
be exposed to that.
Miller of Illinois. Jordan. Miller of Ohio. Jordan. Miller of West Virginia. Jordan. Miller Meeks. McHenry. Mills. Jordan. Molinaro. Zeldin.
I do too. And
Molinar.
Bud.
Jordan. Mooney.
Unfortunately, I think
Jordan.
you're probably right on the Ben part.
Moore
But
of Alabama.
the
Jordan.
party in opposition
Moore
is
of
America
Utah.
First, and they seem
Jordan.
pretty strong on their principle.
Moore of Wisconsin.
Molinaro was another
Jeffries.
vote that voted for Jim Jordan first and second
Moran.
round and has now
Jordan.
flipped away from Mr. Jordan.
Morelli.
So,
Jeffries. Moskowitz. Jeffries.
I think Jeffries is
Moulton.
still more likely than McCarthy,
Jeffries.
honestly.
Mervan. Jeffries.
Because I don't think
Mullen.
America First is going to budge. So they're going to have to go. It's going to have to
Murphy.
be either support from the other side
Jordan.
or something real
Nadler.
crazy.
Jeffries. Napolitano. Jeffries. Neal. Jeffries. Neguse. Jeffries. Nails. Jordan. Newhouse. Jordan. Nickel. Jeffries. Norcross. Jeffries. Norman. Jordan. None of Iowa. Jordan.
None of Iowa once again voted for Jim Jordan. None
Oglenolte.
of it.
Jordan.
I'm going to make that joke all
Ocasio-Cortez.
37 rounds of this
Jeffries.
shit, just so you know.
Ogles. Jordan. Omar. Omar. Jeffries. Owens.
Some people did something.
Jordan.
Glad she voted. It's important.
Pallone. Jeffries. Palmer. Jordan. Panetta. Jeffries. Pappas. Jeffries. Pasquale. Jeffries. Payne. Payne. Pelosi.
This is very painful.
Jeffries. Peltola. Jeffries. Pence. Jordan. Perez. Jeffries. Perry. Jordan. Peters. Jeffries. Pedersen. Jeffries. Pfluger. Jordan. Phillips. Jeffries. Pingree. Jeffries. Pocan. Jeffries. Porter. Jeffries. Posey. Jordan. Presley. Jeffries. Quigley. Jeffries. Ramirez. Jeffries. Raskin. Jeffries. Reschenthaler. Jordan. Rogers of Washington. Jordan. Rogers of Alabama. Jordan. Rogers of Kentucky.
Again,
Jordan.
it doesn't have to, just for the record, it does not have to be
Rose.
a congressman or woman
Jordan.
to nominate and vote for them for
Rosendale.
Speaker of the House. It could literally be
Jordan.
anyone.
Ross. Jeffries.
They don't have the creativity or the guts to go outside of the norm,
Rouser.
but it could literally be
Jordan.
anyone.
Roy.
The names floated were
Jordan.
former President George Bush.
Ruiz.
Obviously, Donald Trump was mentioned.
Jeffries. Rupersberger. Jeffries. Rutherford. Scalise. Ryan Jeffries. Salazar Jordan. Salinas Jeffries. Sanchez Jeffries. Santos Jordan. Sarbanes Jeffries. Scalise Jordan. Scanlon Jeffries. Schakowsky Jeffries. Schiff Jeffries. Schneider Jeffries. Skolton Jeffries. Schreier Jeffries. Schweikert Jordan. Austin Scott Jordan. David Scott Jeffries. Scott of Virginia Jeffries. Self Jordan.
I see he didn't
Sessions
vote for himself.
Jordan. Sewell Jeffries. Sherman Jeffries. Sherrill Jeffries. Simpson Scalise. Slotkin Jeffries. Smith of Missouri Jordan. Smith of Nebraska
Taxpayers give
Jordan.
$174K plus minimum
Smith
to each
of
of
New
these
Jersey
assholes to play games
Jordan.
with each other and accomplish nothing. Exactly.
Smith of Washington Jeffries. Smucker Jordan.
Our system is broken.
Sorensen.
Very, very broken.
Jeffries.
Basically,
Soto.
it means we're fucked.
Jeffries. Spanberger Jeffries. Sparts Jordan. Stansbury Jeffries.
I'm still baffled how people can still
Stanton
stand up there and spew this
Jeffries.
nonsense, though.
Stauber
They think this
Westerman.
actually works. Must be nice to be that delusional.
Steele Jordan. Stefanik Jordan. Style Jordan. Stubbe Jordan. Stevens Jeffries. Strickland Jeffries. Strong Jordan. Swalwell Jeffries. Sykes Jeffries. Takano Jeffries. Tenney Jordan. Tenadar Jeffries. Thompson of California Jeffries. Thompson of Mississippi Jeffries. Thompson of Pennsylvania Jordan. Tiffany Jordan.
No, because we're coming up for election for all these people. And
Timmons
my contention has
Jordan.
been all 435 have to go.
Jeffries. Talib Jeffries. Takuda
Yeah, that gap is definitely
Jeffries.
widened. There's one more that's was a normal
Tonko,
abstain, and that was
Jeffries.
Steve Womack from Arkansas.
Torres of California, Jeffries. Torres of New York, Jeffries. Trahan,
We have about
Jeffries. Trone, Jeffries. Turner,
30 members left to vote, somewhere in
Jordan.
that general.
Underwood, Jeffries.
36.
Valadeo,
So we have 36 members
Jordan.
left to vote. And obviously, we
Van
already know
Drew.
that Jim Jordan's not going to win on this ballot.
Jordan.
Unclear about what they're
Van
going to do
Dyne.
next.
Jordan. Van Orden. Van Orden. Vargas. Jeffries.
J.D. Van Drew is the New Jersey Democrat that switched to Republican
Vasquez.
recently.
Jeffries. VC. Jeffries.
Point of reference.
Velasquez. Jeffries. Wagner. Jordan. Wahlberg. Jordan. Waltz.
Well, thankfully, my congressman's still
Jordan.
voting for Jim Jordan.
Wasserman Schultz. Jeffries.
For now.
Waters. Jeffries. Watson Coleman. Jeffries. Weber of Texas. Jordan. Webster of Florida. Jordan. Winstrup. Jordan. Westerman. Jordan. Wexton. Jeffries. Wild. Jeffries. Williams of Georgia. Jeffries. Williams of New York. Jordan. Williams of Texas. Jordan. Wilson of Florida. Jeffries. Wilson of South Carolina. Jordan.
Every screwy vote is a rhino. Yep.
Whitman.
No question on that
Jordan.
one.
Womack.
Well, they're a neocon.
Scalise.
They're a war hawk.
Yakum. Jordan.
Occam's razor? What?
Zinke. Jordan.
All right, so the first one you're going to have is Mr. Lost. And then you're going to have Fox. And then you have Vicente Gonzalez.
Now we're talking about all the people that had an opportunity to vote, said they were in Congress, but did not vote for whatever reason. So now they got to sort that out. But you can see he's down 25 votes, and he's 25 votes more to become speaker. So it's obviously not happening in this round. Probably won't happen in subsequent rounds. I can't tell you how far down it would have to be to become viable.
The reading clerk will now call the names of the members who did not answer the first roll call.
Bast. Jordan. Fox. Jordan. Vicente Gonzalez. Vicente Gonzalez. Hunt. Hunt.
Oh, language, ma'am.
Payne. Payne. Van Orden. Van Orden.
If there are members, any members who did not answer the call of the roll, they may come to the well and vote at this time.
Bullshit. They're done. Like, who cares? It doesn't matter. If you didn't vote on your time, let's stop playing games. I understand some things happen and maybe you get drawn away for a second, but they're calling your names in alphabetical order. You know who they called and when they called you. It's not shocking. I'm going to take this opportunity to just, can you do me a quick favor and make sure everybody that wants to be is still subscribed, because YouTube's on a purge and I'm just getting nuked subscriber wise. Start making progress and then they just destroy you. So, doesn't match any of my metrics, but it is definitely happening. Yep, dropped one more during this stream so far. Even more to come. We should have kind of like a certification of it here very shortly. And then we won't have any indication of where we're going from here, but we should, of course, keep my eye out for it and come back once we get round number 4. My guess would be today, unless they're really trying to play some shady shit, then be on Monday or Tuesday. I don't remember. They're busy selling that Lockheed stock. Yeah. Busy asking Nancy for stock tips. She's great at trading, you know. Oh, nothing else. This process is so infuriating. 25, so 194. That's a considerable loss, actually. It's slightly concerning. I mean, again, I didn't think there was any chance that he was actually going to win on this ballot, but he seems to be getting further and further away, and that gives him more talking points and makes it more difficult long run. It was choreographed. Oh, of course. Of course. It was. He can't even win without the endorsement of the former speaker, Kevin McCarthy, so he's not going to win. He should stop. He should stop being nominated. That's exactly what that was all about. Oh, come on. I actually have kind of a feeling that they might go to a second one today, pretty quickly. Kind of deciding how I'm going to roll with it. So. Waiting on Congress to make up their mind. Waiting on Congress to make up their mind. What are we gonna do with this time? Oh, come on, C-SPAN. It has been 4 days. Yep. 15 votes in 3 days to get McCarthy in, and they're on their third vote in 4 days. Yes.
C-SPAN's live coverage of the House of Representatives, and it looks like the clerks are working to officially tabulate the results of this third round of votes for Speaker of the House. Jim Jordan not getting the votes that he needed. The numbers right now looking like 210 Democrats voting for Hakeem Jeffries. They are missing 2 of their members. 194 for Jim Jordan. 25 Republicans defecting. That number has grown since earlier in the week when there were 20 on Tuesday, 22 on Wednesday, and on this Friday morning, 25 of his GOP colleagues voting against his nomination for Speaker. Live coverage here on the House, here of the House, here on C-SPAN.
So it says fourth speaker vote possible. No, I mean, they have to have a fourth speaker vote. It's just what's the timing on it. Hey, genitals.
We are waiting for the official count of this third round of balloting on the nomination of Jim Jordan, the Republican from Ohio, to serve as Speaker. And we are learning from Capitol Hill reporters, Billy House of Bloomberg, Eric Wasson and Bloomberg as well, that the GOP conference, will head back into a closed-door meeting at 1 p.m. Eastern time. Again, Jim Jordan not getting the magic number he needed today on this third round.
They're not
of
going to push
balloting
forward for another vote. Probably not at all today. So that's good that we have some clarity. At least we know that they're going back to the office. All right, so here's what I think I'm going to do. We'll end the poll. 72% of you said you're here. 27%, which is probably Bobby and Man Bun and others, say that you're not here. And yeah, once again, Jim Jordan does not have the votes to become Speaker of the House. All indications are they'll go back in conference for some more backroom deals.
The House will come to order. The tellers
Goddamn
agree in their tally that the total number of votes cast is 429. of which the Honorable Jim Jordan of the state of Ohio has received 194. The Honorable Hakeem Jeffries of the state of New York has received 210. The Honorable Patrick McHenry of the state of North Carolina has received 6. All right, the House will come to order. The House will come to order. The Honorable Byron Donalds of the state of Florida has received 2. The Honorable Tom Emmer of the state of Minnesota has received 1.
Yay.
Lee Zeldin of the state of New York has received 4. The Honorable Steve Scalise of the state of Louisiana has received 8. The Honorable Mike Garcia of the state of California has received 1. The Honorable Kevin McCarthy of the state of California has received 2. The Honorable Bruce Westerman of the state of Arkansas has received 1. No person having received a majority of the whole number of votes cast by surname, a speaker has not been elected. Pursuant to Clause 12A of Rule 1, the chair declares the House in recess, subject to the call of the chair.
And that's going to be it. So
The gavel has come down, and once
Shut up,
again,
please, ma'am.
Republicans
I
have.
will keep an eye on it for sure. And if we have another round of voting today, I'll come back and cover it. But because they're all rhinos and neocons. That's why they're all rhinos and neocons. But if we have a fourth round of voting, I will certainly come back and cover it. But I am going to get off right now. So I got a couple things to do today and try and get them all finished before there's a potential for a fourth vote. Thank you all for watching this wonderful train wreck with me. And that's exactly what I'm thinking. I'm certainly thinking that it's going to be, you're going to get either not enough Republicans to make quorum so that Jeffries wins basically on default, or you're going to get some cowards that will flip if they're not going to allow that and go with someone like Jeffries. So be interesting to see. But all right, ladies and gentlemen, I will catch you on the next vote. Stay safe. And I will get you in a little bit. Take care. Bye-bye.